How to overcome corporate reset syndrome right now. Today's episode is sponsored by Billy Keels Advisory Services. If you want to learn more about how to make your 99 optional, just go to makeitoptional.com. Once again, that's makeitoptional.com.
Helping you build freedom without losing your edge. This is the Going Long podcast with Billy Keels.
How to overcome corporate reset syndrome right now is the episode for you if you're sick and tired of every beginning of the year, your fiscal year. It could be January 1st, it could be February 1st, it could be March 1st, that all of the work that you've done in the previous 12 months gets flushed down the toilet and you've got to start all over. If you're looking for a way to kind of get off of the proverbial treadmill so that you are sick and tired of that and you can start to actually feel refreshed and start to feel energized at the beginning of the year, then this very brief episode is the episode that is going to give you the key to how you can overcome corporate reset syndrome and do that right now. It's something that I suffered from. It's something that many times when people start working with me suffer from. And this is the fix. Like, I'm going to give you the key to exactly what you need to overcome corporate reset syndrome. So what I want to share with you is because I continue to work with clients that are execs and vice presidents and senior directors of large companies, it's a pattern that's happening. And I want you to break the pattern. And specifically, like, this was early January, and I don't know when you're watching this or listening to this, but I was on a strategy call with a VP for a large enterprise software company, and ironically, we're having this conversation, and he's walking on a treadmill. And as he's walking on this treadmill, he tells me that he just finished another stellar year. It was 141%, and I was like, "Oh, that's super awesome." And as I asked him that, I was asking him about how he felt, and like this guy, real tongue in cheek, he says, "Well, none of that matters. Doesn't matter." I was like, "Well, yeah, your feelings do matter." He's like, "No, it doesn't." Okay, well, tell me why it doesn't. He said, "Well, because now we're into January. So everything that I did, we're just starting all over. None of the things that I'd done before matters because I'm in a sales leadership role. And so the people that are in my sales team, we've got to restart this whole thing." And as we're going through it, of course, I'm asking more and more about some of the reasons that he has chosen this profession and things like that. And he talks about, living in this amazing bubble and the fact that he makes a lot of money for what he does. And he wants to continue to make more money. And so, of course, I'm curious and I want to continue to scratch, and I'm asking them questions. And as I realize, which happens pretty frequently, what he said is he wants to be able to, number one, not continue that he has to keep going and going and going and growing and growing, multiple double-digit growth every year just to stand in place. I'm going to put a pin in that. I'll come back to it, but because that's something that's important. But he's really looking to be able to show his kids and wants to show his kids that he can be self-sufficient. He's also really wants to share and make sure that his wife doesn't have to work and that she can depend on him, and he doesn't have to depend on somebody else. So it got to be pretty emotional. I won't go into all that here because it's not for the entire airwaves, but just to say, like, money is not the only motivator. It's the thing that we talk about the most. But here's, and so I'm going to take the pin out because I want to come back to another thing, and this is pretty typical. And so as he mentioned that he'd done the 141%, as he's now getting into beginning to share a bit more, he's talking about, and if this resonates with you, like, just let me know, because he said, well, yeah, he did 141%, but the thing is this year he's got a 35% growth target, like 35% growth on what he did at 141% last year. And so the thing is, and just to put this into perspective for you, if you're not, like, maybe you're shaking your head going, yep, sounds familiar to me. And if this is something that doesn't sound familiar, let me just give you the visual here. That means last year, whatever your target was, you overachieved it by 41%, or you were at 141%. So you had a stellar year. But now, in order to stand in place, to be just seen as average, normal, just making whatever it is that the company expects of your role, you have to do 35% more than that just to be at average. Let that sink in. And so as he continues to do this, and he's been in the game for a while, and one of the things that he shared with me is, at a certain point, his wife asked him, like, how much longer are you going to keep this up? Like, when are you going to be able to slow down? Because every year you say, okay, you're going to do, you're going to be around more, you're going to do this, you're going to do that. And She just wants him to slow down, and which is one of the reasons that he, got on the phone and we're talking about this, because this is one of the things that I do when I'm helping clients. Because, and this is something that really broke my heart, is, he said, I think on the outside everybody sees me as a winner, but I really feel trapped. And I looked at them like while he's walking on this treadmill, and I'm thinking, wow, do you see the irony? Do you feel the irony in what we're talking about? Because he's walking on this treadmill and like he's saying how he feels trapped. And I thought to myself, wow, you know what? All right. So I asked the question, like, what happens if you slow down? I was talking about the work, not him walking on the treadmill. So, okay, your wife asked you to slow down. So what happens if you slow down? And he said, I'll lose everything. And I thought, man, that's pretty dramatic, but if he's going to lose everything. And so what he realizes that income that he has, because right now he is completely all in, married to his employer. But that high income that he has, it's the same thing that's keeping him trapped. It's the same thing that keeps him, like, literally we're walking, he's on a treadmill, but it keeps him on the proverbial corporate treadmill. Because yes, he's doing that, but the chain that he's on, it's getting longer and longer, but it's just like a longer leash on the same chain, because he's not going anywhere else. He's all in on his corporate role. And, he has his financial expert that's there with him. But just the visual, when he said that if he slows down, he'll lose everything, I'm imagining him walking on the treadmill. And if he stops, it's like if you've ever been on a treadmill before, if you stop running, you literally your face smashes the treadmill and you run into the wall. Right? Like because you're running so fast, you're running. And if you stop, not slow down, but if you slow down and stop less than the treadmill is going, you will smash your face hard, smashes your face, rubs it, and then you are thrown into the wall in a painful way, right? And so as I started asking him more questions, we get into this point, and he's like, yeah, but I want to be able to do this, and it seems like such a big number. The financial experts tell me I need to be able to have $10 million, and when I get to $10 million, I can get X percent and blah, blah, blah. So he just said, hey, look, this is something that I help clients with, but let's just slow things down. So we did some numbers, and this is just for some perspective. And for some, you may think, well, that doesn't sound like much. And for other people, you may like, wow, that sounds like a bunch. But the fact of the matter is he continued to work more and more and more without really having a clear goal in sight. Really, what was he doing it for? Why was he doing it? Being crystal clear on that. And so this is part of the process. And so I just on a strategy call, we went through this, and we realized he didn't actually need to work to get to 10 million in a bank account at some point in time, way in the future. The only thing that he needed to do was be able to produce $140,000 a year. Right? Think about the perspective. Like you need 10 million in the bank, which is constantly eroding. There's a bunch of things that are happening, or you only need to create 140,000 a year. But the thing of it is when he saw, like, he could finally see it. He could feel it. The 140,000 a year for the guy who's making the amount of money that he's making in his VP of enterprise software role, it became tangible. He was clear on what needed to happen. So he could see for the first time really what he needed to do. And you know what he did? Afterwards, he started, hey, look, and this is over a couple of other conversations. Like, we started working together in February. And so as we were continuing to work, now I'm not going to tell you everything is perfect, because when you come in, you've got these ideas of what you've been told up until now. And so there's this constant battle, like, okay, well, we're doing something different. I'm not familiar with this. So it doesn't happen overnight, but we're a couple, like a month and a half in, and things are continuing to go really, really well. So, but the point is once we started, like, that corporate reset syndrome that starts every time at zero, and you feel like you've got to like do so much more just to stand in place. Like, he's starting to realize, like, okay, now that he is putting the foundations together for his profitable side business, because we're starting getting him clear on what he needs to do, integrating his current career, right? And then as we build out more around the control element, he's going to be leveraging all the skills that he has, the resources that he has available, so that he has much more control. And yes, the clarity was a nice part to get started, to start to begin to overcome corporate reset syndrome and do that right now. He's doing it right now. The thing is, he's also recognizing that he is going to go from being dependent on his paycheck, his corporate salary, to being very deliberate in the way that he is building out his side business. The side business is going to give him much more control over the way that he invests his time with his loved ones and the way that he is creating income for himself, for his family, for his generation, for his legacy. So these are the things, and you can overcome corporate reset syndrome. It's real simple. It's like I said, and you can do it right now. You don't have to wait until 10 million reasons later, sometime in the future. You just need to be focused right now on what the thing is that's going to give you the clarity, because once you have the clarity, you will create the plan. You're a high achiever. We know how it is. Once we see the target and we can feel it, then it's a matter of just having some guided action along the way that can help you stay focused. Well, that's the game changer. So I want you to be able to overcome corporate reset syndrome. I don't want you to despair when you see, yes, you've overachieved by 140%, or maybe for you it's 200%, or maybe it's 107%, but you're an overachiever. If not, you wouldn't be here. I know that. But I don't want you to feel like you're on this proverbial treadmill that you're going to be trapped forever. It's about how do you stop and overcome the corporate reset syndrome and not wait until sometime in the future, but do it now. That's it. And so if this isn't you, but you know someone who is suffering from corporate reset syndrome, because they talk about it, and corporate reset syndrome happens every quarter. It happens on an annual basis, but it also happens, usually the way things are going even faster. Every quarter, if you missed the number, you feel like, oh, you got to catch up. You got to do your action plan and blah, 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 blah. But if that is you, then I've just given you the key to how to overcome corporate reset syndrome. I don't want you to suffer from it anymore. I don't want you to wait in the future. I want you to stop and overcome it right now. And I've just given you the steps. I've given you the first clear step to be able to do that. And if you know someone who is suffering from corporate reset syndrome, it's not you, share today's episode. And then go from sharing to caring, because then get on the phone with that person, give them a message and talk about it. Go from theory to practice. Start taking that very first step to overcoming corporate reset syndrome. This is a part of the key. And so if you want to chat, you know where to find me. Usually most people find me on LinkedIn. I'm over there all the time, having conversations. You can respond here and review, and we can get in touch. But while you're doing that, beginning to overcome corporate reset syndrome, I'll be here preparing for the next episode. So until then, go out and make it a great day. And thank you very, very much.